welcome back to They Did What? Your source for the internet's craziest, most entertaining stories where I go over them, analyze them, and most certainly make fun of them. Today I'll be covering a one-year update to a video series I did last summer, which is titled, Crying Missus Admits to Office Fling Because She Enjoyed the Attention. And guys, that was a 5-part series, which I'm sure a lot of you saw since you obviously have clicked on this video. And as a recap, because it's been over a year, that's about the guy who is divorcing or has divorced his wife now, after finding out that 8 years ago, or 9 years ago in this case, she was having an office fling, hooking up with this guy, and it really boiled down to attention validation. Or a guy here knew darn well how to handle the thing, and to no surprise, it was a big giant drama fest. Such a drama fest, it went on for 5 parts, with the ex, her lover coming back into the scene, the lover's current wife, his daughter, all these things. And it goes to show you guys that when this type of thing happens, you have to move on. And to no surprise, this update here 1 year later, you're going to get your money's worth because there's a lot of drama. But let's just say this guy is walking away doing well, and the cheating ex, who's made his life a living hell, not so much. So his story continues. He says here, Dear SSM. Oh, by the way, guys, he had originally posted his story on Reddit, 2 parts, and was just being crucified by all the wackos of the Reddit brigade. So he then wrote to me and he finished his story over here. So if you all recall. Anyhow, he says, Dear SSM, well, it's been a long time. Sorry for the delay. But life threw me a couple right hooks my way and landed them square in my jaw. Just to jog your memory, I'm the writer. The one with the wife over a quarter century. The one who lost his son and his father. And then, to really cap off a stellar year, the harpy admitted that she'd been unfaithful to me. Her reasoning, she felt like she was getting old. She kept the secret inside for 8 years before springing on me at my lowest point. You all recall that, right? His low point. And our guy here lost his son and his dad. It's such a shame. I went through agony before deciding to divorce her, and she went on a rampage of making my life a living hell. I'm pretty sure you recall the little fella being outside my home and my daughter calling my wife a cunt before sweeping her to the ground. Yes, I do recall your daughter, the martial arts star, knocking your wife down when your wife pushed her too far. Literally put her hands on your daughter. That's pretty funny. And of course, guys, if you don't remember, her ex-lover was showing up at his house giving him a hard time. Yeah, dumb idea. My wife then moved out and told me she'd be coming both guns blazing at me in court. I had a hearing scheduled, and then I went dark. Today is where I finish off the story for you. Your viewers can always go back and watch the Crying Missus Admits to Office Fling Because She Enjoyed the Attention video on your channel if they need the gory details. Yeah, guys, I'll post a link to all the videos, all 5 of them, in the description and the comment section so you guys can go back if you forget what the heck this is all about. He says, well, SSM on to part 6. So why the year-long gap? Well, where to even begin? I got, let's just say, a metric shit ton of updates for you. It's been quite the ride, but before I close the door on this part of my life, I need to address the comment section from your video series on what happened to me. He says, while 99% of your audience were supportive and gave better advice than I could ever pay for, the others, wow. So many times you would see the word simp or the phrase, can you believe this effing guy? Well, to those, all I have to say is this. It's pretty easy to armchair quarterback another man's complete implosion, isn't it? Let me explain something to the people out there. The woman I was with, the one who cheated, she wasn't just some random person or a year-long girlfriend. This was someone who nursed me back from the brink of death. Someone I thought was a genuine friend. The only person I shared everything with. You know, those guys you see, the ones puffing their chests out saying, this could never happen to me. I was him, and you want to know why I was so stupid? Because I didn't think she was capable of this. Yes, so many guys say that. They think there's no way my girlfriend or what, particularly wife, who I've raised kids with and thought I had a good thing with, could ever do this to me. And I gotta say something here. Overwhelmingly, guys, you post your story on YouTube or Reddit, you're gonna get people out there, trolls, are gonna say all sorts of things. On my channel, the vast majority guys that watch this are awesome and helpful, you know? But our audience here will give it to you when well deserved. But there's also a small percentage that just troll to troll. that maybe don't come to this channel very often, stumble upon it, and that's just how it is when it comes to social media, the internet, and all that. So I say to this guy, shrug it off. Don't worry about it. I get trolled all the freaking time. All the time. I got like 3,000, coming up, I guess maybe close to 4,000 videos in circulation. Every day I get trolled in videos I did 5 years ago. I don't care. Can't let it bother you. Anyhow, I just had to say that. It's why we learn through life experiences. Simping was not what was going on here. She wasn't my whole world. I had hobbies and other parts of my life. To be completely honest, my children were the one thing that I spent a majority of my time on. She was a huge part of it, obviously, and I did love her, but the kids always came first. You just don't think your person, the one you built a life with, is going to become some kind of supervillain. You never, in your wildest dreams, think the one individual you trust most is the one that will destroy you. Well, guys, you should never put your full 100% trust in your girl, your girlfriend, your fiance, your wife. Never. There's a lot of things learned on this channel, and the countless stories that are told from guys all over the world. And that is one thing. I watched my grandparents have a 68-year marriage, my parents 51. The only thing that ended those was death. That's what I was told the finish looked like. All our family and friends are still in disbelief that this even happened. I figured I would end up like the generations before me because that was the blueprint. Not anymore, amigo. Not anymore. And I guarantee you those marriages probably weren't as rosy as you thought they were. It's just back then, people didn't get divorced or divorced as easily. And there weren't the temptations that there are nowadays, like social media and dating apps, and people can get attention, women can get attention from. But the guys cheat too. But you get the point. It's a lot easier now. Well, you can call this a lesson learned. It turns out that blueprint is outdated. People talk about modern women and a society that doesn't hold them accountable. And I used to think that was just static noise. Now I know they have a point. I just pray that my daughter, when I'm gone, doesn't become like that. The ones who say, but I said I was sorry, or it's not the 1950s anymore. So before I close this section, I want to give one single sentence of advice to all your viewers, especially the ones who are happily dating or married, the ones who watch for the entertainment. Let me say this to you very carefully. Do not think this can't happen to you. Yes, exactly. Always trust your gut. Always pay attention for red flags. And be sure to handle things accordingly and educate yourself, guys, which you're doing watching this. Okay, that's his recap. That's his advice. That's his comment. Now we're getting to the update here, and this is good. He says, and now off we go. First off, let's talk about B. You remember the little fella's wife. Little fella is the nickname he's given the guy that was banging his wife because he was a little fella. Their divorce came through in October 2024, and SSM is a thing of beauty. A real work of art. She didn't just win. She cleaned his fucking clock. She got everything. The house, the cars, the alimony, the child support. The level of legal destruction was almost unbelievable. Total scorched earth. Well, given the fact what he did to her and how much of a scumbag he was, I don't feel bad for him. And get this, he actually tried to claim in court that she was having an affair, even going as far to invoke my name in their proceedings. The nerve of that sack of shit, right? This guy pops his dick in my wife and then tries to push the blame for his infidelity on me. But he had zero proof, and it came off as desperate and pathetic. She smashed him to pieces. To this very day, he's living with his parents, and his kids absolutely hate his guts. I see him around town every so often, and he looks effing terrible. Just hollowed out. He just stares at the ground when I pass by. It's not even satisfying anymore, it's just sad. He made his bed, and he's lying in it. End of story. And it's not like it was a one-time thing with your wife. All those years later, he came back and got in your face on your property, giving you a hard time, making threats. This guy was a douchebag extraordinaire. I don't feel bad for the motherfucker. After a few continuances, my turn came in December, and it was a doozy. My wife came out swinging, fighting for everything. For the first few weeks, I was terrified I was going to get done in the exact same way. I was having nightmares about being out in the street. I was seriously sick by the time the court date came around. I thought she was going to ruin me. But then a funny thing happened. Her attorney was a complete and total moron. This guy is what completely screwed everything up for her. It was like watching someone try to defuse a bomb with a hammer. There are a lot of dumb lawyers out there, guys. a lot. Just because somebody has a law degree and passed the bar doesn't make them, there are a lot of sharp lawyers, and I've known some and do know some, and there are a lot of dumb ones. They just have the ability to take tests well to get into law school and can get through it and pass the bar exam. And there you go. Really, a lot. Or they may be book smart but have no common sense. And I'm sure some of you guys watching this, attorneys, know what I'm talking about. Well, first, they, my wife and the lawyer, tried to claim we both had been unfaithful, trying to muddy the waters. The same horseshit little fella pulled with me. You should have seen their proof. She had hired a private investigator to follow me around. They had shots of me at dinner with several different women. My editors, this guy's a writer, are women. I had dinner with B, all of which could be easily explained. No hotel room shots, no kisses, not even a hand-holding picture, nothing. When asked when these were taken, before or after she moved out, they had to respond that they were right before and after. Instantly, you could tell that no one gave two squirts about that. I, however, had her admission in text and voice recording, and she didn't even attempt to deny what happened. So score one for the good guys. Awesome. Give people enough rope to hang themselves. The big mistake, the one that blew the whole thing up, was when they claimed I had turned my daughter against her, and brought up the fact that she dropped my wife in the front yard, even playing the camera footage we had of it. That was the ball game. They stupidly had to admit in court that my daughter put her on her ass because the affair partner, who can clearly be seen in the footage, was at our house, parked in front of it, standing outside the fence. How stupid is that? My attorney feasted on it with one simple question, saying, if you are trying to reconcile and you are sorry, why bring the person that brought so much pain to your doorstep? SSM, I'm not kidding. You can literally feel the air suck out of the room. Everything, all the momentum, just shifted right then and there. Again, what a moron. And your wife fell. I always say, guys, listen to your lawyer, but fine print, if your lawyer has a fucking brain and knows what he or her are talking about. Well, in the end, I got the house that I grew up in, the one with the actual memories. She was given the rental property my father had decades ago. On paper, it was worth more, but it was what I offered in the first place. That was just a house. I got the home. She kept the car, I kept mine. We split our money down the middle, and her retirement stayed with her. Okay, well, I'm glad you got the house that you grew up in. That obviously meant more to you. I get it, trust me. Well, our daughter, she still resides with me. We both knew that was a given. My biggest fear was that in October 2024, my second book had a massive, unexpected surge in sales, followed up by my third release in November. She was adamant that she'd get her slice of my royalties. Of course. And by the way, guys, yes, he's a writer, but just because he's a writer doesn't mean this is some bullshit story here. I've done enough of these. She and her lawyer could practically taste it. Well, that did not happen. She was flat out denied. She will never see one red cent. And the final ultimate victory, my personal favorite, the dog is asleep at my feet. As I write this, I got to keep the lab puppy. Thank God. I remember the dog. I wanted you to have the dog. Now about B. Again, B is the former wife of the dude that was banging his wife. And he and B were talking. And I believe I even flat out said or insinuated, when this is over and done, if B is remotely good looking, you need to bang the shit out of her for a while, a little payback. He says, the second my divorce was final, B was at my door. At SSM, for that first week, we were, well, like rabbits. And that doesn't even begin to cover it. It was primal. It was insane. It was exactly what you said it would be, 100% pure, uncut revenge. It wasn't us, it was like just a nuclear explosion of fuck yous aimed at the people who broke us. I kept expecting her to call little fella after it was all over. And for the entire first week, it was pretty much all physical contact. Which, to be honest, I wasn't really prepared for. It was a nice release of pent-up frustration and getting it out of my system. Hey, I got no problem with this. You're two consenting adults. You wore protection. You were safe. Great. You aren't going to be falling in love with her or anything like that, so good. Well, until it wasn't. By week number 3, she was talking about us, about a relationship. The alarms in my head didn't just go off, it was DEFCON level 1 warning. She's now shacked up with some living boyfriend who's barely 25 years old. Oh, for God's sakes. Godspeed, kid, you're going to need it. We're still in touch here and there. She was incredible when it came to the intimate stuff. That's part one. That part I will not lie about. But SSM, I saw it. This material of yours has taught me to look for it, and it was staring me right back in my face. I saw the crazy in those eyes. That same erratic, desperate energy. I just got out of one fire, and I have absolutely zero interest in diving into another one. I backed out of there so fast, I swear I left skid marks. There you go, man. I had a feeling she'd get attached to you. And probably because you weren't getting attached to her because you were indifferent, yet you enjoyed having fun with her. That just drew her in more. And now she's on to some 25-year-old. I forget how old B is. I believe B is definitely younger than you, but I can't remember how old. But obviously she's attractive enough that you would enjoy banging the shit out of her. So you had your fun. Good job. I'm just glad she's not stalking you. Well, here's where my world took another change. Now, here we go, guys, with some serious karma. In the latter half of January, I got a phone call from my daughter. She had, against all odds, been going over to my ex-wife's house trying to build some kind of bridge to have a relationship again. I'd wanted her to. I would never stand in the way of that, and I was happy they were trying to get along again. On the phone that day, my little girl was hysterical. My ex-wife had a moderate stroke and was taken to an intensive care unit. Whoa! Holy shit. There's some karma for you. So I went to the hospital, and before your comment section explodes, let me be perfectly clear. I went to the hospital to check on my daughter, who was completely messed up by the situation. And if I'm being completely straight with you, I also went to support her family, my old in-laws, who I'm still very close with. Okay, I got no problem with that. Somebody's going to give you shit, but I have no problem with that. Your girl's losing it. And given the fact that your daughter was calling your now ex a CUNT last time when she was pushed too far, and when your ex put her hands on her, she taekwondo dropped her on the front yard, it's kind of impressive that your daughter is trying to reconnect. I just hope your daughter is smart about it. Well, my ex was in bad shape, and yes, I did go and check on her. I stood there, I looked at her, and I wished her the best, and I left. Does that sound cold? Maybe, but she also was the one who blew up our marriage and then tried to rake me over the coals in court. It was not my place to be part of that. I'm not her husband. I'm not her emergency contact. I'm the man she used to be married to. There you go. End of freaking story. You know, it'd been one thing if she ruined the marriage, but then she was admitted to it and didn't pull all the crap she did and then try to rake you over the coals. But because of all that shit, no fucking way. If you found out about the cheating and she was very, very sorry and gave you a smooth divorce and then tried to rake you over the coals, maybe I could see if you're a little more sympathetic. But how she acted here, I don't blame you at all. When she was finally permitted to go back home, our daughter, who has a heart of gold, started staying over there helping her. And yeah, I even showed up from time to time to give them a hand. Change a light bulb, move a piece of furniture, menial task. But I never stayed to watch after her. I know a select few people will say, but she was there for you when you were ill, and she was. I didn't forget that, and I never will. The situations are not the same. The difference is simple. When she took care of me, we were married. Now we are not. Exactly. She was doing what a wife should do to her sick husband, and you would have done the same as a husband to a wife. But you're no longer married anymore, and that's her fault. And all the shit she pulled, so you don't owe her anything. She should be grateful you stopped by to help your daughter move the fucking couch or whatever. Well, my life was moving on. I dived back into work, nothing to really go into depth about. Then my daughter's graduation happened. It was a big day, and of course, we were both there for it, sitting next to each other in those little chairs, playing a happy, functionally divorced family for the hell of it. She had a pretty severe limp, and I did help her get around. After the ceremony, we all went to dinner. Oh, God. And the second our daughter took off with her boyfriend, the buffer was gone. It was just us alone. Oh, hell no. I'd be like, oh, no, daughter. I paid for those karate lessons, amongst many other things. You're going to stay here until dinner's over, so I'm not here with your mom and deal with that awkwardness. But whatever. Well, at the dinner table, I knew exactly where this was going. You could feel the awkwardness crawling up the walls. I knew it was going to be uncomfortable, and I knew she was going to bring it up. She started with the compliments and the small talk, saying things like, oh, your new novel is doing so well. I'm so proud. You've been so busy. You look great. You really do. Just compliment after compliment, and then finally she dropped it. I miss you. Of course she misses you. Of course she wants you back because guess what? She's way older. And she had the stroke or this mini stroke or whatever. And her life is dog shit now. So of course she misses you. Do you think if she didn't have a stroke and she could get guys pretty easily and money wasn't an issue and you weren't being successful that she'd be missing you? Fat chance. And oh, by the way, yeah, your book is doing well and she's not getting any of the profits. SSM, I just didn't have the energy to play that game. I looked her straight in the eye and said, 26 years is a good run. You shouldn't have ruined it. Good for you. Don't let her get away with that shit. She probably was expecting you to feel bad for her because of the stroke, and therefore, not say something like that. Well, she immediately jumped on it, saying, "I was serious. It was only the one time. It shouldn't have to you. I shouldn't have done that to you." I just shook my head and said to her, "And that was one time too many." I put my napkin on the table. "I'm telling you right now," I said, "if this conversation continues, I'm leaving. I'm not sitting here while you pick at scabs." Good for you. Well, she got the message. The rest of the night was friendly or civil. We talked about our daughter, about the future. We even had a few laughs. Honestly, besides her lingering problems with walking from the stroke, she seemed like she was doing a lot better. I didn't feel sorry for her, but I meant it. I didn't wish her any ill will. I just don't want to be a part of her life anymore. Yeah. Karma has come her way. It's very interesting she had that stroke. Now, I remember you telling me in the previous story that she at least was overweight and smoked and all these other unhealthy things. I'm sure that, absolutely that, compounded with, her life imploding because of her actions. You put that all together, I'm not surprised. But it's not your problem anymore. When it was over, we said goodbye and went our separate ways. I got in my car, drove home, and just felt tired. It was difficult not to berate her for all the things she put me through, but with her physical condition and the lingering regret I think she has for not having me in her life anymore, I thought she had enough. Well, some people would handle it differently, but she's definitely been through a lot. Brought on by her, I might add. Well, in July, she had another stroke. Holy shit. Again, back to the karma. I can be a vengeful fuck, guys. I can be spiteful, and I'm not going to apologize for it. But there's some things that, I wouldn't wish on an enemy. And a really bad stroke and being incapacitated, stuck in a bed, not being able to move or talk or communicate. Even I, who can be a vengeful fuck, wouldn't do that. This wasn't the moderate one she had before. This was the big one. She's not gone, but she's gone. She's in a long-term care facility now. She's literally broken. She can't walk, and her speech mostly just sounds. And SSM, I took it. I think the best word to describe it is weird. It's an awful, hollow feeling. I do not feel remorseful, not for the divorce, that was the right call, but for the sheer waste of it all. You can't just delete over a quarter century of a life, even after the shitty parts. We did share a life, we raised a child, we suffered through the death of another together. She was there at my bedside when I was dying years ago. You don't just switch that shit off, even if I'm still bitter. So I go to see her every now and then. Our daughter is wrecked by it, so I go for her, and I don't know, for me too, I guess. The situation is grim. I sit there in that room that smells way too sterile for my comfort, and she just stares at me. Or maybe she's staring through me, I don't know. I'm not her husband, I'm not her emergency contact, I'm just a kind of ghost that shows up and doesn't know what to say. Damn, that's just, again, even I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy. And of course, people in our old circle are looking at me sideways. I've heard that several of them blame me. Of course, people in your former circle, and I hope it's your former circle, blame you. She's the one that ruined the marriage. She's the one that acted like a nut job after it got out about her cheating. And then divorce. Blame you? How about the fact that she was overweight for a long time? Smoked, did a lot to her. But of course, it's easier to blame the guy. I would have nothing to do with those motherfuckers. They actually believe our divorce is what caused this, that the stress brought this on. This was a woman who was significantly overweight and smoked a pack and a half of cigarettes a day. How you stayed with her all that time doing all this shit, I'll never know, but the past is the past. That's what led to this, not me. Not the divorce papers. Was she stressed? Of course, we both were. But as the years went on, I tried to keep myself in shape. She did not, and she paid for it. I warned her as 40 loomed that she needed to give those things up and step away from the fattening foods, she never listened. Well, there's a little lesson out there for all the people out there that bought into this body positivity bullshit. Now you can let yourself go and eat like crap and look like a slob. It's going to catch up with you one day. But life just keeps moving. It is a freight train. By September, I finished the first draft of a new book. In early October, I went to a convention to sell novels, and I met someone, a 38-year-old female author. And I'm not exaggerating when I say she was probably one of the most attractive women I've ever seen. 38, the most attractive women you ever seen. I just think you were just need some ass. But don't get me wrong, there's a lot of damn good-looking women in their 30s or 40s out there for their age, but it's not going to carry. I think if you were out in the middle of nowhere and you were starving and all of a sudden somebody gave you a packet of ketchup, that ketchup would be the best fucking food you ever had because you were starving. But I get the point. One thing led to another, and I ended up spending the entire weekend with her. Oh, Jesus. That ain't girlfriend material, man. I have to admit it, I'm so glad to be away from her. She has one of those assets that come straight from the pit of hell, designed specifically to ensnare men into a full-blown relationship before they knew what happened. It was intense, it was a blur, and I bolted. Will I see her again? Maybe at another convention, but I'm staying out of that. That stuff might be as well be poison. I'm glad you got out of there. You're a single man, you're a free man, you got laid for a whole weekend. Sounds like you're big on this marathon sex thing, and then you get rid of these crazies before they really get in your life. You will see her again. And probably because you backed away from her, that's going to make her more attracted to you, and she's going to reach out to you. Guaranteed. Just be careful. So here I am, SSM. It's the end of October. I'm ready to get back to work. Live whatever life is left. I look at my daughter, who's heading out into adulthood, and I just hope I've done a good job. I hope I've shown her what not to do, if nothing else. As for me, I'm done. I have zero interest in women outside the occasional hookup. The relationship part of my brain is just fried. Burnt out, I don't trust my own judgment, and I damn sure don't trust anybody else's. Good, dude. You have your work. You're a writer. You're successful at that. Keep doing what you love. It's not work when it's something you love. You got your dog, who is awesome. You got your daughter. You know, if you live comfortably and can enjoy some of the nice things in life, great. Don't need to be fucking married. Don't need a girlfriend. And you can obviously get girls on occasion when you want to get laid. Well, it's time to wrap up this whole story. I was going to wait till maybe write to you in January, but what is the point? There's no new dramatic chapter coming. This is it. This is how I'm going to be from now on. I have my dog, my daughter, and my work. That's pretty much it. And I'm content. I'm traveling a lot for the books, and I find myself in Florida pretty often lately. I hope one day I can track you down and buy you a beer for what you do. You've earned it after all these years of hard work. Well, I appreciate that. I think I got so many beers coming my way, I could probably open up my own fucking brewery. I know this isn't the vicious, satisfying ending some of your viewers had wanted. There's no I won moment, no confetti. It's just a somber affair. But that is life, isn't it? It's not a movie. It's just a long, messy string of what happens next. I know I did the right thing, and if anybody out there is reading this, thinking about taking back the person who stomped in their heart, just walk, fucking run. It sucks. It's the worst pain you'll ever feel. But even with all this, the strokes, the weird guilt, I don't regret walking away. I didn't deserve what she did to me. No, you did not. And you went through hell, but now you're on the other side and you're living a life on your terms. That's freedom, my man. Do I forgive her? Nope, not a chance. Do I still love her? Yeah, a part of me always will. But it's tainted now, like a beautiful painting someone took a piss on. You can't unsee it. You can't unsmell it, but I had the peace of mind to know that I did the correct thing and I'm going to be okay. For what it's worth, this was a very cathartic to put this all down. So thank you for that, SSM. I'll catch you on the next one, my friend. Well, man, it's good to hear from you after a year, and yeah, a lot of shit's gone down the last year, hence that's why I haven't heard from you. But you stayed strong. You got through it. And here you are, living your life on your own terms. You have, like I said, you work for yourself. That is the dream fucking come true. I wish every guy out there could work for themselves or do a line of work that at least if they're working for somebody else, they get enjoyment out of and get paid appropriately. But that's not, unfortunately, not always the case. So you really you have a gift and you're doing well for yourself. That's awesome. You got your daughter, you got your dog. I'm guessing you're probably fairly comfortable financially. There you go. Just keep hitting the gym, eat well, let your ex-wife's experience motivate you and keep you motivated to eat well and be healthy. Enjoy your friendships and all that, and there you go. Live life on your terms. Just watch out for those crazy women that want to lock you down. That author who you met and had the hookup weekend, you're going to see her again, and she'll be after you. And I wouldn't be surprised if B came ringing at your door one day once the 25-year-old gets out of town. Because typically, the girls that we don't chase, they chase us. That's how it works. The more indifferent we are, the more they won't leave us the fuck alone. But anyhow, you're doing good. I'm happy for you. And don't let the trolls bother you. That's just YouTube. It is what it is. But the guys, you have your back and all that. And again, guys, this story, karma. And his story and his ex, karma. All right, guys, that's it for today. Be sure to comment down below. Let me know what you think about this. And guys, you got a good story to share, or you found a good story you want me to cover, send it my way, strongsuccessfulmail@gmail.com. And if it's a good one, I'll definitely cover it. And be sure to like the video, share it with your friends, and subscribe. I'll catch you next time.